Although most of the experiences that we hear in regards to microdosing in the mainstream media or in blogs or even in scientific research are positive, a lot of people are experiencing significant benefits from integrating a microdosing protocol into their everyday routine. There are some risks to be aware of. There are some things that we either don't know about microdosing or that make it a risky idea to try. And so in today's video, we're going to go through the 6 main risks of microdosing psychedelics and end with what you can do to mitigate those risks to ensure that you have a safe, effective, and beneficial microdosing experience. So the first risk to be aware of, and the biggest risk, is that microdosing psychedelics is still illegal in almost every jurisdiction in the world. There are a few countries where psilocybin mushrooms or truffles are legal. There are a few other places where psychedelic analogs like 1P-LSD and 4-ACO-DMT are legal. And there are even a few cities in the States that have decriminalized psychedelics. But for the most part, microdosing is largely illegal, and that's the biggest risk at this point in time. The second risk to be aware of is psychological dependency. Now, this is also true for things like coffee and tobacco and sex and television. It's true really for anything. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining a somewhat detached relationship with microdosing. You don't want to rely on microdosing as a magic pill, thinking that it will fix your issues. Instead, you want to utilize microdosing as a catalyst to make it easier to integrate new behavioral changes into your everyday life so that post-microdosing, you have more energy, you feel more present, you feel more connected, and you're generally doing a better job of taking care of yourself. The third risk to be aware of is testing your drugs. Although this isn't as necessary for psilocybin mushroom, because that's pretty self-explanatory, if you are thinking of microdosing with LSD, for example, you want to make sure that you always test your drugs before starting to microdose. There are a few psychedelic analogs that are similar to LSD that have a similar effect, a similar experience, but they are much more toxic than regular LSD. So you want to make sure that you have the real thing. The fourth risk to be aware of is long-term effects. We have longitudinal data on what an occasional high-dose psychedelic experience does. And for the most part, it's totally safe as long as you pay attention to sensing. However, we don't know how taking low doses of psychedelics 2 or 3 times a week over a long period of time impacts the heart and generally the body. And so you are a little bit of a guinea pig in trying this out for yourself. Now, it is important to note that psychedelics are anti-addictive and that by and large, we know that they're very safe. But again, we don't have all the conclusive data to say, yes, this is totally safe to go forward. The fifth risk is mania. Some people experience that when they are microdosing consistently, and this is especially true with microdosing LSD, that they find themselves in manic states and entering states of mania more and more and more. If this is happening to you, then you want to make sure that you take a break from microdosing so that you can reset to baseline. And what we encourage is, as sort of a counterweight to the potential of mania, to always have a meditation practice when you're microdosing. That meditation practice will help you to stay grounded and still, and that way, as the microdosing of LSD or psilocybin mushrooms moves through you, it doesn't totally get out of control. The sixth main risks to be aware of when microdosing is taking too much. And this speaks to the importance of calibration. So if you're considering microdosing, start low and go slow. With LSD, start at 5 micrograms, 7, 10, to 12, to 15. With psilocybin mushrooms, you can follow a similar trajectory from 0.1 grams to 0.5 grams. And you want to calibrate effectively. Because what you don't want to happen is you have something important, or you have to go to a work day, or anything else that's public. You don't want to overdose. So it's critical that you understand how sensitive you are to the medicine. You start to develop an intuitive relationship with it before you start to go out in public and microdose in your everyday routine. Those are the 6 risks to be aware of when microdosing: illegality, psychological dependency, testing your drugs, long-term data, mania, and taking too much. If you want to have a safe and effective microdosing experience and mitigate all of those risks as it relates to microdosing, go to thethirdwave.co and sign up for Third Wave's official microdosing course. In our course, you'll find everything that you need to have an effective microdosing experience to ensure that this is used in a safe and appropriate container so that you can heal and transform based on your intention, what is best for you. That is thethirdwave.co to find out more about Third Wave's official microdosing course. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date on the third wave of psychedelics, subscribe to this channel and visit thethirdwave.co, where you'll find plenty of free resources on intentional and responsible psychedelic use.